Welcome back to Blake's Takes, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode. As always, with me, my co-host Garrett.
Hey guys.
Today we're going to be talking about Furiosa. A lot to discuss there, especially with these box office numbers. But before we get to that, talk about some movie news real quick, because why not? Got to keep y'all updated, keep us updated. So first thing I saw today is that Mike Flanagan will write, direct, and produce a new Exorcist movie, which is going to be a radical new take from what The Exorcist Believer was. As we know, The Exorcist Believer did not have a great run at the theaters.
No.
Which that was directed by David Gordon Green, who directed the newest trilogy in the Halloween franchise, which started strong, but I think had a very weak finish. And I think fans were just tired of seeing David Gordon Green having all these two classic horror franchises have all this power in the palm of his hands. And Mike Flanagan has done some great projects. I would actually be very excited to see that. I loved Midnight Mass, loved the Haunting of Hill House. Haunting of Bly Manor was okay, but then he's got a few solid horror movies in there as well. He did Dr. Sleep, which I thought was an underrated sequel to The Shining.
I'm gonna leave these opinions up to you because you're the horror movie guy, but
no, I think this is a really good move. I think this is a really good move by Blumhouse. Speaking of Midnight Mass and Haunting of Bly Manor, did you see what actor missed out on being casted as Mr. Fantastic besides Pedro Pascal?
No.
So I think Pedro Pascal's been like hit or miss with the audience. Like, we love Pedro Pascal, but I feel like he's just in so many franchises now.
No, I know what you mean. He's becoming like that guy.
Yeah.
He's becoming too recognizable, is what it is. He's too
recognizable.
recognizable.
Thing?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I get sick of seeing the same people in everything.
Right. Like in a different franchise.
Yeah. To me, it almost becomes like the Chris Pratt effect. Like when you just have Chris Pratt and everything. Okay, it's like, that's not the character, that's Chris Pratt. But I feel like there are exceptions to it. Like when I see Leonardo DiCaprio, I know that that's him. Well, but at the same time, he's so into his character.
But he's also never in a franchise like that.
True.
He doesn't do franchises.
No, he doesn't. He's just in a lot of movies. In general.
So Pedro Pascal would be in the MCU now, Star Wars,
Game of Thrones universe, if you want to count that.
I guess, but that was just a season.
Yeah.
But The Last of Us, that's a big franchise.
Yeah, that's another franchise.
So that's 3 big franchises right there. And there's always a list of actors who are always just on the brink of being casted, but is surpassed by someone else. But Raul Kali was almost casted as Mr. Fantastic, and I think he's got a great Mr. Fantastic look to him.
Yeah.
More so than Pedro.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And I think he's a great actor too. Yeah, he was in Midnight Mass, Fall of the House of the Usher, The Haunting of Bly Manor, and everything that I've seen him in, I've really enjoyed him, so I wouldn't mind that casting at all.
Pedro Pascal's name just has pull, man.
It does.
It has pull.
It does, especially when you're going to go Fantastic Four. But, I mean, yeah, because if you were going to have those other 3...
Yeah, you need one big one in there.
One big one.
Yeah.
It's not to say that the other actors aren't good actors, but... And I love Ebon Moss. He's been Fantastic in the Bear.
Not household names.
Not household names.
Pedro has become a household name these past,
Absolutely.
I would say these past 5 years.
Yeah. Yes, you got to make money, right? You got to bring in money at the box office. Speaking of the box office, that's going to be a popular topic when this Furiosa review.
Okay, so not movie news, but some live action performance news, I guess. Have you heard about the backlash of Northwest's performance?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
At the Hollywood Bowl.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've seen videos of that on TikTok. Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and bash a 10-year-old.
No.
But I feel like, and people were like, oh, she looked like she had fun up there, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's fine. Have her go do a school play.
Right.
Have her go do a school play. Not here.
Agreed. And I saw a reporter, I saw a TikTok of this of this anchor on some news channel, but he had a fantastic point. He's like, I'm not going to sit here and bash a 10-year-old kid. That's not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to say something about the parents, and it's the parents' fault for putting that kid in that opportunity.
100%. There was a whole, audition process going on, and you had all these talented kids, and it's like, I'm sure they strong-armed him to I'm sure they strong-armed him with money or something, and they're just like, put her in this.
Right. And it's not, you know, he was saying that musical was not some cheap production thing either. Like he said, some tickets were $4,000.
I think it was 3,000 was the max.
3,000, 4,000,
but
whatever.
Either way, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
Way too much money to just...
to go there and watch an untrained child sing in this production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see that. Nepotism is real.
I will say
crazy.
though, I saw one comment that had me dead, bro.
What?
Kanye's ego with Kim's talent.
Oh, wow. Ooh. That might fit. I mean, you never know. North could grow up to be a very talented person.
Apparently, I saw people talking about how she's like a very good painter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like, do that.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, like, why do you even want your kid in that play?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just seemed like an odd thing to have her in on her first solo expedition.
Yeah.
Just seemed weird.
And I saw a TikTok of the mother of one of the little girls that got passed
saying
up
how she was in like the final auditioning process. Yeah. And then was it a blonde woman?
Yes.
Yeah. And then she saw Kim Kardashian walk in with North.
And and I think it's even worse when you see the videos of people that were actually in the audience. Ooh, dude, that's not good.
You could even see the reactions of people performing with her on stage. They were like, there were so many times where they had to like pull her in the right direction. And you can even see the face of the guy playing Zazu, bro. He's like shaking his head, like in disappointment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like, and people were like seeing him mouth the word unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, you could tell it's a very choreographed thing. Like this takes months to practice, and it looked like North was just out there.
She was literally just like bending her knees back and forth. I was like,
it's
like that was the first time she had ever done that with them. Like she didn't do any kind of rehearsal.
Really is about who you know in Hollywood, for sure.
I'm not gonna sit here and bash like nepotism either in the industry, because there's definitely actors that have worked out just fine. Like
Jack Quaid.
yes. I was literally trying to think of his name.
Who else? There's been more too.
Oh, there's been plenty.
There's been plenty. That's
just like one right off the top of my head.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean there has been some good nepotism for sure, but
doesn't always work out.
Right.
Back to Furiosa.
Let's get to Furiosa. Obviously directed by George Miller, starring Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa, Chris Hemsworth as Dementis.
I thought it was Anya.
I always said Anya too, and then I watched an interview recently, and it was her. She said her name because it was like
She said Anya.
She said Anya.
Interesting.
Anya Taylor-Joy, because it was the most Googled searches.
That sounds so much more Australian when you say it like that.
But she's not Australian.
Wait, what is she?
She's
I thought she was Australian.
No, she's not Australian. She's Argentinian. She was born.
Oh, what the hell?
But she lived in Miami. But she kind of has like a UK accent. She's been all over the place. I'll include this in the episode. Yeah, because I always said Anya, but then I was like, all right, I'll finally know it for sure when I hear her say it. And she said Anya Taylor-Joy. So right here it says born in Miami, Florida, but her citizenship is United Kingdom and United States. All right. Born in April of 1996 in Miami, Florida. Her father is of an Argentine of English and Scottish descent, the son of a British father and an Anglo-Argentine mother. Her mother was born in Zambia to an English diplomat and Spanish mother from Barcelona. Well, she's a mutt.
That's
then.
wild.
She
bro.
has got a lot in her then. Wow. That is quite the mix of everything there. But yeah, because she has sort of an accent there.
Yeah, she does.
But her first language was Spanish.
What?
Yeah.
The hell?
Uh-huh. She's been all over the place.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to starring.
Anya
Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Chris Hemsworth.
So obviously right now the popular topic for Furiosa right now is that it's not making any money at the box office, which sucks that that's the conversation that everyone is having, because it is getting fantastic reviews. Like it has a 7.9 on IMDb, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critic and the audience.
Dude,
and a 4.0 on Letterboxd.
The fact that it's not making money is really surprising to me. I thought there was like plenty of marketing for it. I feel like it was like popping up on TikTok and everything. Like it was one of those movies that they're like, okay, the
trailers were fantastic too.
Yeah.
And
do you have it in you to make it epic?
And Furiosa sees worst Memorial Day opening in 30 years, bringing in $32 million at the domestic box office, making it the lowest domestic box office figures for the holiday weekend since Casper in 1995. Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Maybe people were too busy getting fucked up. Maybe that's what was going on. I don't know.
But and these 2024 weekend figures are significantly down from 2023 when Disney's Little Mermaid brought in $118 million last year.
Okay, well that's
weekend.
That's 100%. Little Mermaid, man.
100%. That's Little Mermaid. It's a live action reiteration of a beloved Disney film, a family friendly movie. Yeah. Obviously, that's going to bring in more money than a rated R George Miller Furiosa. But hopefully, word of mouth could bring this box office figures up. Because
I feel like it should.
I feel like it should.
Like Mad Max Fury Road is already a beloved movie, and the reviews for
the franchise itself is pretty beloved.
Yeah, the franchise is it's very well known. I feel like
I would think there would be a slight spike in the box office figures. But now people are asking the question: are movie theaters cooked? Like, is the movie theater experience the same as it used to be?
I don't think it's cooked
for the general for the general public. Like, people aren't going to the movie theaters.
Well, I mean,
not as much as they used to.
Well, I'll tell you why. Is price is the biggest thing.
Price is pretty expensive. I do think that,
because I was just talking about this the other day with Tati's mom, actually, and she was telling me about how, why go to the movies when it's literally going to be $100 price tag to bring the whole family.
It is.
And that's not even like including the fact that they're going to other places to prep the food, prep snacks, and and not buy what's actually at the theater, because everybody knows that has always been crazy overpriced. And instead of just like waiting a month and then just watching it at home, and even if you have to rent it for like $5 or something, and everybody can watch it at home.
Well, when it first comes out, I think it's like $20 to rent. But then again, that's just the whole house can watch it.
That's the whole house for $20 versus $100.
Yeah. No, I know. And even if you just want to go on a date as a couple, like, it's gonna at the least cost you $50, and is gonna probably cost even more. Not including, snacks, drinks, if you want to go out to dinner before. Like, a date night is not cheap.
No, it's not. Bro, for an IMAX ticket, like, I'm just happy that I have the Regal Pass, because, my ticket only ends up being $7, but I still get Tati's, and hers is like $22.
Yeah, I wrote out the prices. So IMAX ticket at Regal is $21.83. That's before tax. So 2 tickets right there on a day, it's going to be $50 for you.
Yeah, and that's not including drinks, food, nothing.
And I feel like it's different. It's going to be different for us because, we just love the movie theater experience. Like, I absolutely love going to the theaters, even if it is by myself. Like, I just love the movie theater experience because there is no distractions from the outer world when you walk into the theaters.
You don't get a phone call. You don't get text messages. And you're not an asshole if somebody does call you and you don't pick up. You're just like, sorry, at the movies. It's like, what are they going to do?
And if I didn't have a monthly Regal Pass, then I probably wouldn't be at the theaters that much, because it is expensive. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's not expensive to go to the movies, because frankly it is, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck.
If you didn't have a Regal Pass, like, let's calculate if you saw 10 movies a month, that's lit. And the average price for what a regular ticket is, like, say $13-15,
like 14.
Yeah, that's like, so that's anywhere from $130 to $150 a month.
At that point you get a Regal Pass.
Well, yes, obviously, but if that option wasn't there, that price isn't sustainable.
I think it's a combination of a little bit of everything when it comes to people not going to the theaters anymore. Once the pandemic happened, it obviously took a hit, and it recovered for a bit in 2023. They saw Barbie and Oppenheimer, And they were like, all right, I think we're good for another year.
That's because Barbenheimer was like a whole thing.
But no, nowadays a movie comes out 2 months later, it's streaming.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. Why go to the theaters, like you said, to bring a family of 4 and spend $100 to the movie theaters?
Because that's where the majority of the tickets came from too, is like families going to see movies together. That was an activity everybody could do.
When 2 months later, it's going to be streaming somewhere. So streaming has absolutely fucked a lot of things.
And on top, and working together with streaming stuff at home is the fact that home theaters have become very doable. I think getting quality speakers and a quality TV isn't going to break your entire bank these days.
Not as much as it used to.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Not as much as it used to. If you wanted like quality audio that's comparable to that of a movie theater, you would have to get like basically movie theater equipment.
Yeah.
So I think that working in tandem with the streaming and it coming out so quickly, that definitely hurts it.
And price for sure is definitely a factor. In an economy that seems like everything's been raised up quite a bit these last few years, it's definitely tough to justify spending that much money going to the theaters, depending on how much you love going to the theaters. I feel like back then, everyone just went to the theaters because they also knew they weren't going to be able to see it or buy it for another 5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to miss out.
Yeah.
But it's not the case anymore. It's unfortunate.
We could learn something from the French man with all these price increases.
Frenchman? Oh, you talking about like
French Revolution.
What do they call those? Like, not a revolution, like the Boston Tea Party. Why am I blanking on the name, bro?
You're making me blank on the name.
Right? Not a revolution. Not a riot, a protest, a boycott.
Yeah, boycott.
There we go.
Well, they were boycotting the tea.
They were boycotting the tea, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the French do know how to protest. Have you ever heard of some of the crazy stuff they do?
Yeah, they also know how to lose a war.
Bro. Well, it's not even the war. Like, I think there was something they were really upset with something their government did, and like what they did, I think they took like manure and shit and like surrounded the Capitol building with it.
Oh, wow.
And like threw it at the Capitol building.
Oh God.
Yeah. Shit like that, man. They didn't permanently destroy anything. They didn't really deface it.
Yeah.
But that'll piss some people off.
All right. Yeah, as long as you don't permanently deface it, I guess that works.
Right?
Yeah. But then again, not all great movies are going to do well at the box office. Obviously, a bad box office run does not equate whether the movie is bad or not. And I think Furiosa will be one of those movies where I think the
DVD sales and stuff like that.
Not even that, like the cultural impact will be, the pop culture impact will be more important than the box office, which is unfortunate because logistically, that's not going to encourage the studios to have George Miller make another movie, another Mad Max movie, if it's not going to be profitable for them. But you can't deny some of the pop culture impacts that some movies have had, but didn't do well at the box office.
I think with the amount of praise that this movie is getting, and the fact that it's already working so well with its predecessor, I think once people like hear about Furiosa and how good it is, and they go back and they watch Fury Road, then Furiosa, and they're going to be like, okay, let's get a third going.
Yeah.
And I think that third movie could have great box office success in that first weekend. Maybe because 9 years between this and Fury Road, that is quite some time. That hurts. So like say they follow this up in like 3 years or something.
Yeah. I see what you mean for sure. Cause like a double feature of Fury Road and Furiosa. Oh, so good.
Back to back.
Oh my God.
It's great.
I watched Fury Road like a few days before Furiosa, then watched Furiosa, and then
watch Fury Road again.
And then I was starting to watch Fury Road again. Like Fury Road is so fucking good. I mean, just go down the list real quick. Some films that are critically acclaimed with significant impact on the film industry, but did not do well at the box office. I mean, in recent years, you had Killers of the Flower Moon that came out last year. I had a $200 million budget, which I think $40 million goes to Leo DiCaprio. but that only grossed 156 million.
Jesus.
Steven Spielberg's The Fableman, which had a $40 million budget, only grossed 42 million.
I mean, that makes sense.
The one that hurts me the most in recent years, Babylon. The budget, $80 million and only grossed $63 million. Even I am to blame for letting that movie fail at the box office. But once I saw that.
Why? You saw it in movie.
I didn't see it in theaters.
What?
I know. And I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't.
I could have sworn you did.
Nope.
Dang.
Ashamed. And it's unfortunate that that I didn't and it failed that bad. Blade Runner 2049. A very, very popular movie in recent years, I'd say.
Yeah.
The budget was between 150 to 185 million. Grossed only 267 million.
Oh, okay.
And lost the studios around $80 million. So yeah,
Jesus.
Remember, just because these movies are grossing more than the budget does not mean they're profiting from these movies. There is a lot of back ends that they have to pay between distribution and the theaters.
Damn.
So they gotta be like doubling their profit to be able to. They gotta be doubling their box office to be able to profit. But even some classics, Fight Club, budget of 63 to 65 million, only grossed 100 million. The Thing, 1982, The Thing.
Oh, this is gonna hurt me.
$15 million budget and only grossed 19 million. And I will say,
that's crazy.
However, E.T. was also in theaters at the same time.
Oh,
bad timing there. Whoever picked that release date in the studio needs an earful. Shawshank Redemption, one of your favorites.
Yeah.
$25 million budget, grossed $28 million domestically, ended up grossing $78 million worldwide. So I think it did do better because it was becoming more critically acclaimed. It was getting Oscar buzz, which helped it when it was re-released then. But yeah, domestically at first, the box office and critics were not too hot on Shawshank Redemption. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, $60 million budget, 60 to 85 million, only grossed 50 million.
All right, well, that one I knew.
Didn't even make its budget back.
All right, for those of you who don't want to hear his bullshit for 30 minutes, you can skip to the 30-minute mark and we'll start talking about the movie.
So there you have it from the numbers, but let's get talking about Furiosa, what we liked and what we didn't like from this film. I'm going to say this. My first impression off of Furiosa, do not go into this movie expecting it to be Mad Max Fury Road.
Of course not.
But I kind of was. When I saw the trailers, I kind of was expecting another Fury Road, just a prequel with Chris Hemsworth and Anya Taylor-Joy. And not to say that diminishes anything that this film did. I'm just saying don't go into this expecting it to be Fury Road because it is different.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be different, I had a great time with it.
I know you were disappointed at first because you thought it was going to be Anya Taylor-Joy like the entire movie. But dude, for the first hour, we don't see her.
So you want to go over some strengths and weaknesses for you?
To be honest, dude, I was thinking I couldn't really think of a whole lot of weaknesses.
Not a whole lot, but I got a few here.
I mean, I'll say it like this. Like, I don't think there was a lot of things that I saw on screen that I was like, I didn't like that they did that. It was more so like things that just weren't included that I wish were.
That weren't included?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go over some strengths of the film for us. First thing I wrote down, obviously, is Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she did an incredible job as Imperator Furiosa, taking up that mantle from Charlize Theron. I love her. I think there isn't anything I've seen where I'm like, she wasn't that good in it. She's been great in everything.
Honestly, like, and I know there was a little bit of like, a little bit of complaints about Anya not really having a whole lot of lines or dialogue. She has like, isn't it like 30 lines of dialogue in the whole? Yeah, she does not have a whole lot of dialogue. But to be honest, I thought there was like a lot of strength in her silence.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Throughout the movie. And
that's just George Miller doing what he usually does. And that's just movies for him being a visual medium of storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's 100% what you get from these Mad Max films.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of that, she did speak on that matter and how it was really intense for her.
She felt lonely.
Yeah.
Didn't she say that?
Yeah, she said she spent months on set without delivering any lines, filming wordless action sequences over and over, studiously, sometime emotionally analyzing her acting choices. But she said the result was so intense, she is still processing the experience even 2 years after filming.
Dang.
Quote, I've never been more alone than making that movie. I don't want to go too deep into it, but everything that I thought was going to be easy was hard.
You know, I think as far as an actor goes, like you get so used to, I mean, all right, well, I'm not going to speak like I am an actor, but this is just how I'm thinking. You know, you get so used to being in scenes with dialogue and that being like a whole part of your acting routine. I feel like when you don't speak, that would definitely throw you off, because now since you can't speak, I feel like you're focused on every other aspect of your acting that you can.
And that was one aspect that her and George Miller talked about that she really had to work on, was because Furiosa had a very stoic look to her, and it was conveying that acting with her eyes.
Yeah.
Just her eyes. There was a lot of her eyes in this movie. And yeah, it can be tricky for sure. But she killed it.
She did kill it. And since we're speaking of character strengths, another strong character coming out of this movie is Chris Hemsworth as Dr. Dementus.
I was excited to see him in this role, especially after Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
And as a villain role too. I know
I almost in my review I almost said like, oh, a change of pace for him. He played that bad guy in Spiderhead or whatever.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's what I was thinking.
It was Spiderhead, but that was a weak ass antagonist.
Yeah, it was a weak antagonist. But what was it? What were you thinking of?
It's Bad Times at Hotel Royale or something like that. Bad Times
I haven't seen that.
I saw it when it came out. So I don't have like too fresh of a memory of how he was as the villain, but he was the villain, and I do remember liking that movie. But I mean, yeah, after you see him as Thor so many times, and the different variations of Thor that he's shown us, I was just really excited to see him as a villain.
He was the hero in Extraction.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
he's usually always a hero.
Yeah, he's definitely the protagonist for the most part, but I think this was definitely his best antagonist role for sure.
Well, yeah, 100%. One of the best roles he's ever had.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we've seen a decent amount of, not this. Look, when I say this, the actors who have been in the MCU have had other fantastic roles in their career, especially before the MCU, when it comes to Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo. But like in these recent years, it has been a nice refreshment to see them in these other roles like RDJ and Oppenheimer, Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, and Chris Hemsworth in Furiosa. Because I think these are the roles that are now like separating them from the MCU. They had their roles before the MCU, and then they became their MCU character.
Yeah.
And then that was them for a decade.
Yeah.
Decade straight easily. And it was like, okay, now that Endgame's over, which was such an event, such a cultural phenomenon, what's going to be that role that can now get you past the MCU?
I feel like it's almost like they have to build their street cred again.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, I was remembered as my MCU character, and it's like, if I'm ever going to be taken seriously as an actor again, I need another role that's going to prove that I'm not just the MCU.
I mean, look what even Tom Holland's doing right now. He's doing theater right now.
Yeah.
He's going to do a Broadway play. I mean,
I think all those actors needs to definitely just like branch out and, try out different things.
And they definitely want to.
And of course they want to. But, because Tom Holland, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the movies that he's done outside of the MCU have not been received well.
No, not at all.
No. So.
Yeah, Spider-Man has been his best role when it comes to like out of all his other movies, but he's still very young. I think he's like 27, 28.
Dude, he's got so much time left.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about him as a career actor.
Another strength for me, even though she wasn't in it long, another character was Furiosa's mother, who was played by Charlie Frazier.
Yeah.
Which she's kind of up and coming right now. She was in Anyone But You, again, a small side character role.
Yeah.
But she is an Australian model that has now dipped into the acting world. And both times I've seen her, I've really liked her.
I'll tell you what, when we first saw her in the beginning, I was like, damn, well, let's see where Furiosa gets her badassness from.
Yeah.
My God. Honestly, everybody from the place
village.
of abundance, from that place, just seems to know how to handle themselves. It's like, they lived in this very nice place where they didn't really have to worry about the dangers of, the
Wasteland.
Yeah. But damn, were they ready for when it came knocking on their door.
Yeah. What's another strength for you?
I loved how creative they got with the car chases, because obviously that was a big thing in the original Mad Max. It was like the intenseness of these highway scenes and like the
I watched the original last night.
Yeah, and like the poles that there's a name for it. They have a name for all their little devices.
That was in the original too.
Yeah, that was in the original. I know it was in the original. I love that they brought that back. But like one addition to like one of their techniques that they had was the parachutes. I thought that was so cool. I was like, they just came up with all the different ways you could possibly have to have like a physical advantage or a technological advantage against who you're trying to take down on the road. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, when you see these movies, and then of course this being the next movie after Fury Road, you expected amazing set pieces and stunts. And there absolutely was. I mean, I really loved the spinning thing on the back of the war rig.
What was it called?
I forget what it was called.
The Bobby.
I don't know.
Fuck. What was it called?
In that same action sequence, when the people that were chasing them brought out like those flying gliders as well. I don't know what they're called. You know, like the flying gliders with the
hang gliders. The hang gliders with the motor on.
Yeah, with the motor on them. Yeah, that was new and interesting as well.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, and Furiosa in that entire scene was just kicking ass.
That was cool.
That was really cool. Like she was manning, like everybody was gone, and she was manning every station on her own. Like she didn't even have the little guy to activate the spinny thing. She had to go do that herself too. Like, good Lord, someone give her a hand. Literally, because it gets chopped off.
Not yet. Not yet. I thought this movie, another strength was the lore, the world building of the Wasteland, leading up to what we had seen in Fury Road. But yeah, this had a lot more world building of like what actually went on,
showing the different fortresses.
Yeah, and like their purpose for each other.
Yeah,
I mean, because in Fury Road,
they talked about him.
They talked like, I'm sending my Imperator Furiosa to get us more gasoline from Gastown.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, but what's the relation?
Guzzling.
Guzzling. But like, what's the relationship between Gastown, the Citadel, and Bullet Farm?
Well, I think they're all under
the Citadel reign.
Yeah, the Citadel's like...
Yeah. Well, I mean,
protection or whatever.
That's what I'm saying is this movie definitely explained that more.
Yes.
And their relationship for each other.
And while they did do a good job with the world building, it honestly kept me like thirsting for more though, because I wanted to understand more about this world and just like how people survive. I'm always interested in how people survive in these kinds of places. And like, because I would love to learn. I would love if they even went back further since like before the bomb drops and like how the planet became the way it is. I love learning about that stuff, which is why I think I loved when they did flashbacks and Fallout. That was always interesting to me. Another part of the world that I wanted to understand was what happened to the green place.
Yes, I agree to that. Yeah. Because they don't show it again in Furiosa, and then in Fury Road, like it's no longer a thing. And it seems like it happens in a pretty short amount of time. So it's like,
it took place during her lifespan, in probably like a span of like maybe 15 years or something.
It's exactly 15 years actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like what happened to that place?
I know that was such a drastic change. Something dramatic definitely happened.
Yeah, I would like to know more about that. Another strength, the visual cinematography.
Yeah,
which
was to be expected from this.
Obviously, love a good Mad Max saturation. In this deserted world. Speaking
of saturation, though, and lenses, did you know that the night scenes were filmed during the day?
You know, that would make sense because when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this night scene's fucking gorgeous. And that's what they did in Nope as well.
Yeah.
They filmed them during the day.
And then they put that blue lens on it.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. I think that looks the best when it comes to night scenes for showing like a true natural lighting without having to have all these other manufactured lights trying to light up a night scene.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Right. Yeah.
Like, bro, could you imagine if I'm kind of stealing this from this guy I saw on YouTube, but
Okay.
could you imagine if the Game of Thrones scenes were filmed like that?
Ooh.
Oh, in season 8.
In season 8, yeah, the battle.
Yeah.
The Winterfell.
Bro, I guarantee you there would have been 1,000 less complaints.
Ooh.
If they had done that.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody was like, I can't see shit.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know who was the first to do that, but Jordan Peele was definitely one to
get that going.
Get that shit going. Yeah.
No,
it looks gorgeous.
It looks so good.
It does.
It looks so good. Honestly, I feel like everybody should take notes from these movies because they always just look so much better than anything else I've seen.
Yeah.
It's just so crisp and clear.
It's funny you mentioned that because when I did see that for the first time, I did get that Nope nighttime feel from it, just from the lighting, sound mixing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. I don't know who's going to win sound mixing for the Oscars next year.
I don't know, bro.
Dune or Furiosa? I don't know. I love just the sounds of the engines in these Mad Max movies.
Bro, and especially that scene when Dementis first shows up to the Citadel and he has them all crank their engines.
Yeah.
That was cool. Honestly, I think Dementis' whole character is just so cool. I love it.
In what way?
Like, I don't know. I mean, like I just find him so interesting that the fact that he's such a good speaker and he's so good at rallying the people towards his cause, and he focuses on the people that are he focuses on the common people because he knows that people are power and that's how he can overthrow these other leaders and get what he wants. But at the same time, he's so not a planner or any kind of strateger, he's just not a good overseer or king. He's not good at that part of the job. He can take what he wants, but he sucks with maintaining resources, which is an extremely important part of living in this world.
Yeah. And
he's just I'll give you all the shit you want. I'll give you everything you want, but you keep doing that, you're gonna run out. And that's exactly what happens wherever he goes. And that's when things turn into chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was really interesting also seeing the progression of his cape as well.
Yeah,
that he had.
I loved that symbolism there. And it was when that red bomb went off, opened up a whole world. It just opened up a whole world
the
to
flare.
him. Yeah, the flare, the red flare.
With the red powder.
Yes.
Yeah. And it stayed in his hair and beard for a while too.
It was in Furiosa's too.
But so there's definitely a symbolism there as well.
Because then towards the end of the movie, I think it has 3 colors on it. I think it's
black.
It's black at the top. It still has there's a stripe of red from the flare, and then the bottom is white from the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool way to show the progression of time and the progression of his character. Because I feel like it was those the red and the black almost showed the corrosion of his true intentions at the beginning, you know? Because at the beginning, I actually kind of liked his character. Obviously he was doing messed up stuff, but it seemed like he did have a genuine care and passion for the people around him.
Well, even when Furiosa put on his cape at the end as well, I mean, there was a progression of her morality feeding away as well. I mean...
And I think that was the points they were trying to show, the similarities between her and Dementis, and what he was saying in that scene at the end was true.
Yes. And I think that's where Fury Road comes into play, where it makes so much sense of what Max and Furiosa's conversation of what does she want? Redemption. And that's exactly where Furiosa comes into play.
Because she could feel her character being corroded away.
Ooh. That just makes her character even great.
No, it's
even
awesome.
Greater now. All right. Yeah, that was a great point. I'm proud of that.
I know. You ever get into a good conversation about a movie and then you're like, that's fucking smart. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, that was a huge thing for her character in Fury Road is she wanted redemption.
Yeah.
And after seeing Furiosa, you see why she does.
And going off of that, that was another thing I did want to point out was the attention to detail in every piece of this movie, specifically used in a way it was not originally intended to be. Like the guitar. If you look at the guitar is made of a what is it called? The things that they use in hospitals to put crap in.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
a bedpan.
Bedpan?
Yeah, the guitar is made of a bedpan.
Okay.
That's one example. Another one was they were strapping in when she was strapping in the gas, the strap that she uses, it looks like a seatbelt off of like a bus or like an airplane.
Okay.
It's just like, because everything that they do is they're scavenging and
got to be resourceful.
Yeah, so they're just trying to use anything in any way that they possibly can. They're like, oh, this works. So if you see something being used, it is most likely it's most likely not for its original intended purpose.
And that is one thing that Anya Taylor-Joy said in an interview as well. Every action sequence, like every car, every prop is intentional. Like there's a reason why, like you said, they use it the way they use it or built it the way they do. Just being resourceful in that wasteland of a world.
And even that motorcycle that we see at the beginning, that's made of an airplane engine. Did you see that?
Oh.
Yeah. It was a breakdown. It was dropped a day ago. This breakdown of Furiosa made by New Rockstars.
Okay.
Yeah. So he shows a bunch of Easter eggs and stuff. So if you want to check out more of these details that I'm talking about, go check out New Rockstars because it was a very good in-depth. It's like a 30-minute video. It's pretty cool.
Last strength I'll go over before we get to the weaknesses is the music, which Tom Hulkenberg, which he also did Mad Max Fury Road. He also went by Junkie XL.
Yeah.
He did Batman. He did BBS. Not the Batman.
BBL?
He did
BBL Jersey?
Not BBL Jersey. He did BBS. But yeah, fantastic music. I will say, great music, and it is a strength, but it's also a weakness.
Why is it a weakness?
Because I don't think it included enough music. The music that was played in the trailers was fantastic and got me hyped. That music was not played in the movie. Speaking of the trailer right now, there's a lot of people online saying that the trailers for Furiosa looked bad, looked like a Netflix movie, and that's a reason why they're not going to the theaters to go see Furiosa. And I'm like,
I thought the trailers were good.
I'm like, the first trailer for Furiosa has been the best trailer that I've seen the last few years.
Yeah.
That trailer got me so hyped. It's better than any trailer than Doom Part 2 put out.
Yeah.
And I have Doom Part 2 as my best movie of 2024.
Yeah.
But I will absolutely agree that Furiosa had a better trailer than Dune. I thought the trailer was great.
I thought it was cool too.
Amazing sound mixing in there. Fantastic music. You get a few powerful lines from Anya Taylor-Joy.
And Dementis. Lady and gentlemen.
Yeah. Like the music and the sound effects just going hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
Like, this looks amazing.
No, it did look really good. Honestly, the trailer is what got me hyped for
The
this
trailer
movie
is
as well.
so fire.
And actually, another little tidbit. Did you notice that he says lady and gentleman because in that circle that they were gonna pull that guy's limbs apart?
Only Furiosa was there.
No. Well, yeah. There was only one girl. Everybody else was a guy. So he said lady and gentleman.
She becomes part of his crew.
Yeah. With the scar on her face. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the trailer was fantastic. I remember seeing that trailer for the first time. I would think I was seeing Dune.
Yeah.
And I saw that trailer in IMAX blasting in my ears. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking there opening night.
Yeah.
Because of this trailer.
Yeah.
So I don't know where people get off on saying that the trailer was bad.
Or what would you put this at for? You said Dune is your best movie of the year.
Yeah.
Would you put this at number 2?
I would. That's what I have so far.
I would
it's
too.
at number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I did love the music. I love the music in the trailers, but we didn't hear that music in any of the movie itself. There were some action sequences that didn't have any music, which I was surprised at. That I thought could have used some. But yeah, not too many weaknesses of Furiosa. It is told almost like a fairy tale chapter, episodical chapter being told. There's a narrator. I thought the first chapter was quite long.
It was.
Which
they started from the beginning.
They did.
So,
they did.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense because if they didn't show how she got there, you would have been wondering how the hell did she get to the Citadel in the first place, and why does she know about the Green Place?
Right, and why is she promoted to Imperator Furiosa?
Yes,
right.
Because for her to go from being a no-name. Well, actually, from her to how did she go from being one of the wives to her position?
Yes,
that needed to be explained as well.
Yeah. So I just, again, I expected just to see Anya Taylor-Joy kind of like almost right away, which we don't get, which it just threw me off.
But it worked out.
It worked out.
Do you think they should have? I don't think you're gonna say yes to this, but do you think they should have used Charlize Theron? They could have, but you think they could have?
I guess they could have, but I don't think they should have.
Okay.
Like, I know there was discussions about possibly using CGI to de-age her face a little bit for the younger scenes, but it's like,
I mean, don't they already do some of that with Anya, because she's like
with the kid?
Yeah, well,
right.
Because she went from like after we see her pull the lever, after we see Furiosa pull the lever and that whole thing, and she becomes that operator. The scene after that, when they're working on the
war rig,
the war rig, that's Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes,
that's when we first see her, but she looks tiny.
She does.
I think there was they had to be using some kind of. I don't think she's that small. Is she?
So I feel like even more the reason that they should have went with Anya Taylor-Joy like they did, because how would you do that with Charlize Theron? You're just gonna have Anya Taylor-Joy in there for a chapter or two, and then have Charlize finish it off. So no, I think it was definitely the right choice to go with Anya Taylor-Joy. Not to mention, like, Charlize, she's done so many projects. Like, she's been a star. She's been a star actress for years.
Maybe they should have done like a cameo real quick, like that, like the final shot that we see of Furiosa.
The end credits they kind of do.
Do they?
Yeah, the end credits was like just the shots of Fury Road. Remember we were watching that?
That's not a cameo.
That's not a cameo, but it's like, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Like, this is Anya's movie.
You could have done it.
No, this is Anya Taylor-Joy movie. I think they made the right move with going with her, not doing Charlize Theron. Look, Charlize Theron did a fantastic job at Fury Road. This movie is 9 years later released.
True. Yeah, and let me be clear. I am glad they went with Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm not arguing saying they should have used, Charlize Theron, and I'm complaining or anything. I think Anya absolutely killed this role.
She was the right choice for sure.
She definitely was the right choice.
She literally was a reason why I was also excited to see this movie, because I love her as an actress. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see her as Furiosa. Would you have liked to seen, I kind of wrote this down as a weakness. I want to see if you think it's a weakness. Do you think they should have showed a little more when it came to that 40-day war with Dementis's war crew and the Citadel?
I think so. Yeah.
They kind of glossed over that
a little bit.
Just threw some narration in there.
But I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because like I feel like.
But why?
I don't know. It can. Well, for one, I'm sure that would have upped their freaking budget like crazy.
Yeah, sure.
Because how are you going to show a 40-day war without a hell of a lot more action scenes that are going to live up to what we've seen in Mad Max before? And it was already action packed as it was.
And it was already a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is like you want to sit there another 30 minutes, and then they're going to add another $50 million to their budget.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. You got to work within your limits. But.
Yeah, and man. Once they moved forward during that scene, and Furiosa went and tracked down Dementis.
Yeah.
Oh, and that final meeting between her and Dementis was so fucking good.
That was another strength for me. Was the chemistry between Anya and Chris Hemsworth in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and even between him and the little girl playing Furiosa, I thought theirs was good too. Even though she didn't speak, but again. Just you didn't really. I don't know. I just thought that was really funny, especially when he was introducing her for the first time to shit. What's the Overlord's name? The
Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe.
Yeah.
Like when he was introducing Anya to Immortan Joe for the first time, and he's like, "This is my daughter," and then that was and she's like, she hasn't spoken since her mother passed, and then that was the first time she ended up speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that final scene between those two characters in the desert was so fucking good.
It was so good.
Wait, hearing that line, "I want them back,"
yeah,
in theaters was just fantastic, because I loved hearing that line in the trailers.
I loved hearing how Dementis's mind works, and just like and his mentality about the world.
Explain.
Like he has so he has like no he never had a plan in the long run. That was always obvious. And it was always and that line and his line that we hear in the trailer, but do you have it in you to make it epic is like, and that was essentially his goal in life, was to make everything epic, memorable,
whether he like won or lost.
Yes,
as long as it's epic.
Yeah, and he didn't care. It seemed he didn't care if he came out as the good guy or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think he saw himself as a good guy for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know what he saw. Honestly, I'm not sure what he saw himself as.
Maybe that's a good thing, a very gray area character. I mean, he's not the good guy.
No, he's not the good guy, obviously. But I'm curious what he saw himself as. I know he's in the beginning, I know for sure he saw himself as like a kind of deity.
Yes.
Like a person to be worshipped.
Yeah.
But, towards the end when he had like everything taken from him, I just find his character very interesting. I don't know.
Well, so would he.
And he just like, honestly, part of what I like about him is how confusing he is.
One other weakness, it's not too much of a weakness. Like I was just trying to find some weaknesses.
Right? I was like, dude, you said strengths and weaknesses. I was like, I can come up with like maybe 2.
I don't even know if they were trying to throw in a romance between Furiosa and Jack.
Yeah, they definitely were.
Right. That's what I picked up on it. And I think they could have gone without having that. Like have that relationship for sure. And at times it felt more of like a
mentor-mentee kind of thing.
Very close relationship, almost like a buddy cop relationship. But before Jack's demise, it started to hint at like this romantic relationship that that it makes it worse, but it's like I think they could have just gone without it, and it would have still had that same impact. Like his death would have had that same impact.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I'm not saying there's a problem with it. I'm just saying I think they could have gone without it.
Okay.
And it still would have had that same impact.
I mean, losing
his death.
Losing. I mean,
yeah, but losing a mentor still hurts.
I know, but I think losing a loved one hurts more.
You can still love a mentor, just in a different way.
I don't know.
I
thought it was fitting. You're just trying to nitpick, you little bitch.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to find some weaknesses to talk about. I mean, that about does it for the weaknesses, really.
Yeah.
Needs to be noted as one of the best prequels of all time, because you got some, look, when it comes to prequels, it's usually not a very high bar.
Yeah.
When it comes to prequels, I feel like, there's only a handful that are really grasped as like amazing films.
Mm-hmm.
And like notable prequels would be obviously The Godfather Part 2, which people do claim to be better than The Godfather Part 1. I mean, we love the Star Wars prequels. I know they're not critically acclaimed for the most part.
I wasn't going to bring it up because critically, they're not the best.
But they're fucking good prequels, all right?
They're good.
I think they do a great job at lore.
Yeah.
Building that world, that Star Wars world.
Oh, I think the world building is probably the best part about it.
Speaking of Star Wars, Rogue One, that's a good prequel.
Yeah.
The newest Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, that's a good prequel.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Bumblebee.
I can't comment on that.
I enjoyed Dr. Sleep. Oh no, that's a sequel. Never mind.
Dumbass.
Pearl.
Oh shit, yeah, Pearl.
That's a great prequel.
All right, but I don't know if like that counts like greatest of all prequels, but yeah, it is a good prequel.
X-Men First Class.
That's a good prequel.
Good prequel.
Yeah.
But that's about it when it comes to good prequels.
I would arguably say Furiosa is probably the best done prequel out of everything you just mentioned.
Even The Godfather.
Okay, I can't comment on that.
No,
either,
Furiosa, when it comes to the prequels, Furiosa is definitely like a top 3 prequel.
Yeah.
In my eyes. Because some other prequels that I wrote down, like 2011's The Thing. Fuck that. No, not a good prequel. Monsters University. Honestly, I think that's one of Pixar's weakest movies. I'm not a fan of Monsters University. I know a lot of people do like it.
I like it.
You like it?
I like Monsters
University.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
When did you watch it?
A while ago.
I just thought it was very...
What?
Like bland. I don't know. I didn't feel anything from it.
Didn't feel like Monsters Inc.?
Yeah, not even that. I just didn't feel any emotional connections to it like I did for Monsters Inc.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought the games and everything that they did were cool.
They're cool,
and I thought Sully's betrayal was heartfelt.
I don't know. I thought it was all right.
I liked it.
So, I mean, I would definitely say, please watch Furiosa. Boost those box office numbers up.
Yeah.
I think George Miller's done a fantastic job at giving us some like great visual mediums when it comes to storytelling. And yeah, I don't know if they'll give him another chance to make another Mad Max. He might have to make Happy Feet 3. You know, he directed the Happy Feet movies, right?
No, I had
How
no
many
idea.
Happy Feet is there? Is there 2?
I think it's 2.
There's 2. He directed those Happy Feet movies. How do you go from Mad Max movies to Happy Feet?
That's wild.
Right?
It's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I got range. Man, Happy Feet. Oh my God. I haven't seen that in so long.
Happy Feet, man. And after you read some of like about George Miller's life, it makes sense why he does make these Mad Max movies. But apparently he worked in a hospital before making movies, and he saw a bunch of people, saw a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
And man, I guess Australian roads be dangerous because it said he lost like 3 friends to car accidents.
Jesus.
When, you know, he was in his 20s still at the time. So it said a lot of the stunts and like the car crashes you saw in those Mad Max movies was like from the accidents that he saw happen to people in Australia or like his friends. Yeah.
That sounds traumatizing.
That sounds like an interesting way to deal with trauma, I guess. Let's just make a movie about it.
Sounds sad.
Right. One thing I forgot to mention too, apparently Furiosa was written before Mad Max Fury Road.
I mean,
that kind of makes sense.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I wonder what made them want to make this second. Maybe because maybe Fury Road was the more action-packed one and just...
You know what? No, I think it had to do with the character of Max.
Yeah.
Because obviously Mel Gibson plays Max and the first 3.
Yeah.
So that was the popular character of the franchise. So I think to like rejuvenate the franchise, they're like, all right, well, we're not just going to go off a new character.
Yeah.
You know, throw Mad Max in there. And that movie, Fury Road, had been in development since like the fucking 90s, bro. For reasons they had to delay it after 9/11. And then originally Mel Gibson was going to come back to play Mad Max.
The hell?
But then he had his issues in mid 2006 when he got arrested.
Yeah.
And so he was very controversial. Couldn't cast him as Max anymore. So that delayed it even further. And then in 2010, they had casted Tom Hardy. And then they had finally begun filming in 2012, had to do some reshoots in 2013, and then finally came out in 2015.
Good Lord.
Isn't that crazy? Doesn't it just show you like if you were an actor and you got casted for something and you got to wait 5 years to see the final result?
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
Also, sometimes
as a director, like
getting casted though, that can mean nothing because projects can go awry so quick.
Yeah, that's gonna do it of this review of Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. I don't know what you be hearing from people, but we think it's fantastic. All of our friends that have seen it have loved it. I think it's a fantastic prequel and definitely worth the movie theater experience for.
I gave it 4.5 stars.
I gave it 4.5 stars too.
Yeah,
nice. All right, there you have it. Go see Furiosa. Definitely a movie that we will be seeing nominated next year for some Oscars. I'll tell you that.
Yes, sir.
Next episode, next movie.
You know what I do want to go see?
What? Oh, I want to see I Saw the TV Glow.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah. But there wasn't many showings. I think now they're finally starting to show some showings near us.
Yeah.
But it was like hard to find one.
Yeah. No, it's in Regal right now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I want to see that movie.
Want to go see it tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Actually, I might be able to.
During the day. Because I got work at night.
Oh.
Then fuck you.
I got to edit this. All right. We'll see you on the next episode of Blake's Takes. As always, with me, my co-host, Garrett. Peace out, guys.
Later.
I said it wrong.
How do you fuck it up, bro?
I think I purposely tried to.